Shut up and sit down.
The push bike has made a big comeback, and that's terrific because riding push bikes is a really healthy pastime.
Who did it?
Lance Romance.
Really? Lance, come here. It's week 9 and Lance is still making rookie mistakes. I want Lance to learn these things because if he learns them, our whole crew benefits from it.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Check it out. Yeah, y'all, here we go again. Turn it up. Bring the noise. You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing. Bass, how low can you go?
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dialed Podcast. I am Jake Von Turing. I'm here with Lance friggin' Hepler.
What's up, Lance?
What's up?
What's happening?
Boys, it's Lance friggin' Hepler.
Friggin' Hepler.
Here I am. I just had a teammate paint a new bike frame for me. I got a new. I'm working on a new road bike, and I didn't like the color it came in, so I had teammate Mike Hansen paint part of it for me. And when I went and picked it up yesterday, he was like, "I was gonna put Lance friggin' Hepler right on the top tube."
Such a missed opportunity.
He goes, but my wife wouldn't let me do it. She's like, "What if he wants to sell this bike? You can't sell the bike with Lance friggin' Hepler on it."
That's a good point.
He does have one of those die-cut sticker machines.
Yeah, that's what
the transfer sticker. Did
Yes.
he put one on there? Just says Lance friggin' Hepler?
No, he did not.
No, I know that he probably used that to make some of the outcuts of the BMC logo, probably, maybe?
Yeah, well, we didn't have to replace any
gotcha.
stickers.
It was just straight color?
It was just straight color, so...
Well, maybe he can make you a sticker that can go on there that can be taken off in the event that you do want to sell your bike, even though you never sell your bikes.
Don't sell my bikes.
To Lance's left, Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys are looking pretty good today. Tomorrow,
feel
we don't know.
good.
You feel good. Looking good, feeling
You
good.
look better, though, Matt.
Let's call a spade a spade. Let's be honest here. The listeners want to know honesty. They want to hear the real truth.
It's all ginger love.
Do I
with
look?
Matt
I look a
LeGrand.
little bit rough.
You look stressed a little
Because
bit.
cross country season has started, and I'm like not even sleeping. I'm like, oh, I got to remember this. Oh, I got to remember that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Do you guys maintain a social media account for that as well, or is that something that's not really encouraged?
There's stuff on Facebook, and then there's 20 Instagram accounts, and I think the high school kids over the years have just constantly started a new Instagram account, and so I'm like, which one of these is the legitimate? Because it'd be nice to take over that and actually promote the team.
Yeah, you do a good job with that. That's why I ask.
I do. I'm looking for more responsibility and more things to take on.
Yeah, because I'm just 40 hours isn't enough.
I'm
right?
bored. I'm bored, and I'm sitting on my hands. I'm just don't know what to do with myself, and so yeah.
Nice, cool. Hey, we know what we're doing on this podcast today. Do we want to do that part first? Do you guys want to backpedal it, kick it old school like we did last week again?
I don't know. Whatever you guys want to do.
Old
I'm cool.
school.
You wanna go old school?
Let's just get the backpedal out of the way. I know it's not going to be long
It
over
should
here,
be
but
short because it
not
hasn't
much
been
has
that long
happened.
since
It's
we've
only
done
been
our
3
last
days since
podcast.
we met. Wait,
Yeah.
it's Tuesday. When did we record?
Friday.
Friday.
Came out on Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, I did a ride on Saturday. Did just a Prune Hill cruise. I needed to test this new bike computer that I'm working on. It's called a Brighton 750 SE, which is a little bit confusing because I've reviewed the Brighton 750E before. Isn't that crazy? Nomenclature. Just call it a, I don't know,
751 or 760 or
yeah, anything. They could have gone with any sort of number difference, but they didn't. And it's a similar device, but it's just the upgraded version or the newer version. Basically, it's got a longer battery life, 40-hour battery life. If you change the settings just right, it's got USB-C. Got a climbing feature. Brighton has some weird stuff where you can kind of communicate with other people that have Brighton.
All
computers.
those Brighton computer users out there.
So many. Yeah. And I'm like...
Enough to make you switch? Is it good enough to make you switch?
No.
Okay, but it is another a piece on the market.
It's another computer for people to consider. $250.
It's not
and it's
too
color.
bad.
It's
Price
color.
point,
It's
yeah.
touchscreen, and so it's kind of it kind of checks a lot of the boxes. It does not have the predictive climb feature, and I kind of feel like that's a standard now that Wahoo finally implemented it. Like it was kind of
the
Hammerhead had it for a while, and then all of a sudden, like Garmin did it, and then pretty fast follow. I'd say maybe 3 months later, like Wahoo's like, yeah, we can do predictive climbing too. They all did it. It all works really well. I like that because I don't tend to put in routes for my rides. And
it is nice.
And I think a lot of the, we'll say, smaller companies that are doing bike computers, it's not something that's going to be easy for them to do because I do think it's like difficult stuff technically. So
you get a discount on the price, but you lose that feature, which
I mean, Brighton's
kind of a big feature if you ask me.
It's a
big selling point.
Yeah, and then I'd say navigation isn't quite as good. It's just like you'll come up to you guys are gonna people are not even gonna have to watch my video because they're gonna have all the scoop from our podcast. You come up to a turn, and then of course you got another turn, like whatever, 100 meters up the road, like super short up the road. You're doing another turn. It'll give you the turn up the road and not the one that you're on. It'll be like, yeah, you're turning right. And you're like, no, you're supposed to turn left, then right. And it's doing that. It must have some sort of trigger that, like, whatever it is, a quarter mile or half mile show, the whatever turn that's coming up or whatever. And so it's like showing this turn early, and then you get to that turn and it's showing the next one. Stuff like this, like little things like that Garmin and Wahoo, these guys, they've got it figured out because they've done this for so long. They don't have as many issues. But it does navigate you places, and it will reroute you correctly. I've had good luck with that device, but yeah. So did some climbing because Prune Hill is a great place to do both navigation and climbing, and it's okay.
Back in the day when I used to ride bicycles,
a long time ago, I remember. I
used to be around a lot of people. I don't think I've ever seen a Brighton computer in the wild.
Yeah,
not a single one, and I've run across quite a few people.
You have seen a lot of cyclists in your day.
A few, yeah.
I probably have seen one. And that's probably like going to some road race and seeing like one person and being like, whoa, you got a Brighton computer. He's
like, yeah, I won it on this YouTube channel called Matt LeGrand.
That's probably, you're probably exactly right. Yeah, because for a long time I was giving stuff away, and I haven't been doing that as much lately. But that video will come out in the next 3 weeks. But I did get out and test some stuff and went for a run as well. Hit up Heritage Trail, and it's been smoky here.
A little bit,
Yes.
a little bit.
So you probably got away from it when you went to
the coast this weekend.
Coast. Yeah, let's hear your back pedal.
My back pedal.
Switch right over.
I did. I went to Astoria, Washington, and went on a
Oregon.
Yes. Very close to the Washington border.
It is on the Washington border.
My bad.
But it is in Oregon.
Astoria,
Good point.
Oregon.
And went right over my head.
Went on a fishing trip with my son. It was a blast. We went on
Did you catch anything?
A guide boat. Yep, some salmon. Yep.
You got some for me?
Barrett caught his very first Chinook salmon, which was kind of cool. And
cool.
We've got, we already ate one of the big fillets last night with the family.
Was he loving it? Does it taste better now that he caught it?
Tasty good, yep. And it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, that's kind of cool. I mean, I caught this and we're eating it for dinner, and it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to read your fridge when you're podcasting. You'll be podcasting, talking about something important.
You're going to go out, quote, to the bathroom.
I'll be right back, guys.
And we were hoping to bring home a lot more fish, but it is what it is. We brought home quite a few pounds, not quite a few, several fillets, and it's good eats.
How did your shoulder hold up with all of that?
Fine.
Nothing? No pain,
so
no
my,
ankle pain?
My
no
goal
hip
for
pain,
that
no-
whole trip was just for him to catch his first salmon because it was an experience that I wanted him to have. So we were on a guide's boat, which was a fantastic service. It was a fantastic boat. It was a really good time. And there was a couple, like two other guys out there as well that had, they're at the front of the boat and we had the back of the boat. And so we had our rods out in the water and we were fishing, just slow trolling. And my thing is like whichever pole hit, I'm going to have him reel in the fish because I wanted to have him have the experience. I've caught plenty of big fish in my day, and that was mission accomplished. So
cool.
All said and done, I didn't reel in any fish because I was more so interested in him getting that experience.
Sure.
And then I was running a little GoPro so that we could
cool.
capture the moment. So
Did you see the sea lion docks?
I did not. Well, from a distance, I could hear them though.
Did you go to the Goonie house?
No, we did not.
Did you
have
go
to
to the Astoria column?
Did you
No,
really
he did not.
even?
Did you really even go?
Did you really even go to
Astoria?
Astoria?
He didn't want to see any of this stuff. This whole weekend was more about him, just kind of like a father-son trip, and he wanted to do certain things.
right.
So I told him next time we come back, those things are happening.
Okay, those are the three things in Astoria. I can't
Does he
think
have
of anything
football
else.
starting? Did he have football start yesterday?
Yeah.
How was that?
Good. Well, actually, they started last week, and they
start before us somehow. I don't know how.
It was like the latter part of last week that they
I'm just
started.
going to say that my kids are doing football. My runners, they're just running. They're running for football. They switched to cross country.
Yeah.
Like all 100 kids.
We traveled home on Monday and had to leave in time so that we could get back for him to eat and rest and get ready for football practice. So. But yeah, it was a really good time, fun weekend, and I did jump back on the trainer. It was the first time I'd pedaled anything in 2 weeks.
Wow,
and
that's probably the longest break you've had
since I was broken 5 years ago.
Since you're broken, yeah.
So it was.
Maybe it's just time. Maybe you need a break. I don't know. I have my runners take like 2 weeks off after cross country practice, and then they take 2 weeks off after track. Not that I take a ton of time off either, but still.
I don't mind taking some time off. I just don't want to do it in the middle of summertime. The weather's too nice out. Even if it is a little smoky out, you don't want to be missing all of these rides and all of this glorious weather.
I hear you.
Sucks.
I hear you. That's right. How about you, Lance? Did you get on the bike?
I did get on the bike. Saturday, I decided to go join the East Side ride.
I did stalk you on Saturday. I was like, maybe Lance is home. I'll go bike over to his house. And I looked, and you were like,
gone.
He's in like Southern Oregon somewhere.
No, I was in
south of Portland.
I was in Tualatin.
Yeah, that's far.
Yeah, kind of Gaston, in Sherwood area on the other side of Portland. Daniel Payne is this old dude who does big rides every weekend, and he throws out a Strava invite every weekend, and I decided to join it on Saturday.
Nice.
So went over. Of course, I was late because the ride started at 9, and I decided to go at 8:30, and it's a 31-minute drive.
So. I thought it was an hour drive to get over there.
No, it's
That's
like,
not bad.
on
Dan,
Saturday morning.
You use that term "old guy." He's older, but
65 or something like that. Or
can
64.
still get after it on the bike, and
Very
he
much
puts
so.
in big miles too. Like for a while there, he was doing a century every single week.
Still does it.
Every single week.
He does a century every
week.
Saturday.
Wow.
And
Outside,
sometimes
no matter
also
whether
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's logging, like, I think there was one point in time he's like 14 or 15,000 miles a year. I'm like, good Lord. And the first time I ever met him was somehow we got connected on doing the STP ride. I think it was the second year that I did it. He ended up jumping on our train and rode with us for the latter half of that and did just fine. Keep it up, taking his polls. And I was like, dude, way to go.
He did STP again this year.
Yeah.
So that's another
single
ride.
day, I assume.
It's a single day.
He does single day, right?
Yeah, like 20. He said he averaged like 21 something for the whole STP. So not too many stops.
Yeah.
But yeah, I showed up. There were a whole bunch of hitters there. Rob Tornai, Greg Steele, Ben Van der Zan, and Zach Winter. There were all these really fast guys. And I got my ass handed to me. So it was it was a good ride. There were some attacks and some sprint points, and there were some hill climbs that I just could not hang on to. So it was a good ride for me to be on. I think I rode it was like 62 miles. I did
that's what you wanted, right?
Century.
You said you wanted to kind of get somewhere in that 60 range,
60, 70 mile range. So yeah, it ended up being a great ride, and the weather was great. The smoke wasn't that bad on Saturday, and so I had a good time. So thanks, guys, for letting me crash your party. So when I was riding with Daniel, we were like we both got dropped at one point, and we worked together to pull the group back. And me and Daniel were able to pull the group back, but mostly because they had to stop at a stop sign. But we were able to pull him
take your
back.
victories however you get them, my friend.
And we were in the group after that, and he's like, "Hey, dialed guy, what's your name?" And I'm like, "I'm Lance." He's like, "Oh, you're the van life guy." And I'm like,
van life guy.
I guess I am the van life guy. So
that's funny.
Anyway, he said some nice things. Sunday, we had an AQI hovering around 150 here in the Portland, Vancouver area. So I chose not to ride outside. I know a lot of people did in the morning. I didn't. I got on the trainer and did a bunch of stupid sweet spot sets. So, but
it's a good workout.
Yeah, I needed that. I needed a couple hours. I still have Rebecca's Private Idaho in a week and a half, and then the cross season starts right away too. So
that's fun.
So that was fun.
What are you gonna do at Rebecca's Private Idaho?
I'm just doing the medium race.
Medium, right?
I'm not
which is
doing
kind of what you've done in the past.
I did it last year, and it fit in well with
everything,
cross season and whatnot. So it's like 65 miles or something like that. And then yesterday, our team had our first cyclocross practice out at Vancouver Lake County Park.
Oh.
And we had almost 20 people there. There was like 19 people
Fantastic.
there.
What time is practice?
It's at 6:30
Okay. Vancouver Lake Park.
at Vancouver Lake Park. I think there will be another one next Monday as well. Jerry Pruitt has been putting these on. He says he's not a coach, but he's a great coach.
Yeah,
he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, he has.
He knows the skills and how to teach them. He sets up different obstacles for us. We run different drills, cornering drills and dismount drills.
Can we just say, like, what a rock star for
Jerry.
all the things he does?
Yes.
He does a lot of things that you would say, like, what would you call that? Like, just non-thankful type work that just doesn't get noticed. And he just kind of, like, prods the team and makes the team better, in my opinion.
Yes.
Good person. Thank you.
So it was
for
great.
the thankless job, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry Pruitt, for putting those on. So
Yeah.
we're hoping to do a few more of those. So
Cool.
It was good. That's it.
Fun.
I rode my bike.
Man, that was like all
Shortest
of us
ever.
all of us done in less time than a lot less time than Lance's full
One story.
His
backpedal last
his
week.
normal story is an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so this was 15 minutes total for all of us. So that's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Very cool. Do you want to call up Champ Bailey and do any Champ Bailey things, or do we not have things going on in the world?
You bet.
We do?
You
Yeah.
betcha.
Well, then let's
You betcha. What?
Champ
Oh,
here.
there he is.
Champ here.
Champ here.
Fast.
Champ
Nice.
here. There was no UCI races that happened this
Okay.
week. Actually, that's not true. There might have been something, but nothing that really mattered. Everybody's getting ready for the Vuelta a España. The biggest race that happened this last weekend was Steamboat Gravel. So
Yep.
the Steamboat Gravel race happened. It is in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. We actually had 3 teammates that all went and did the race.
Right.
Hooray for Chris Surratt. He actually was able to finish the 60-mile race after his almost deadly bike crash that Jake and I were both there and witnessed. Well, I witnessed it more than Jake did because Jake was ahead of me and I was not. And anyway, he finished it 12 weeks after this bad crash and was able to complete it. So good on you, Chris Surratt. Way to go, buddy. We're proud of you. So that was he. You know, obviously he didn't race fast and didn't want to go fast. He just didn't want to not go. And it's been a goal that has spurred his rehabilitation, his recovery. So
Again, we say it all the time, put something on the calendar, and he kept that on the calendar. It was always there, and that was a good thing for him to have his eyes set on, so he could focus on doing that as opposed to just saying, screw this, I'm done.
yes,
You know,
correct.
like other people sitting at the table.
It's not, you're just not getting progress. That's all, Jake. So anyway, good for you, Chris Surratt.
Don Schloth was
Don
there?
Schloth also went, had some goals and crushed his goals.
Attaboy.
Yep. Don is coached by our teammate Ian Gibson.
Yep.
And so that coaching really helped Don just beat his, I think he beat his like time goals by like 20 minutes or
Oh,
something.
wow, that's significant.
He was, he also did the 60-mile race.
Okay.
And then Andy Levine, our teammate Andy Levine, did the big course, the 142-mile race. And so he got out there and finished it. He did well.
Sweet.
So good for them.
He's a big diesel. So,
Yes, he's a big diesel. I don't know if you recall, but last year, this was the race that created a whole bunch of beef in the gravel industry because
Gravel world.
Yeah.
Because of drafting and
yes, because there was like
people
the
taking
first
polls?
50, 60 miles of the race, there was a group of 60 or 70 riders together and many not taking pulls, skipping pulls, hanging out in the back, not trying to do that. Keegan Swenson got ticked off and yelled curse words at people and then attacked to try to split up the group, but it wasn't for quite a ways into that. So this year, in this 142-mile race, Keegan Swenson attacked at mile 5.
mile 5.
fresh off of Leadville,
Fresh off of
crushing the record there.
absolutely crushing the record at Leadville by
Did he have anyone go?
minutes.
Like, did he work with someone on this attack?
There were 4 people that ended up going with him. So one was Payson McKelvin, Brendan Wirtz went with him.
It would be nice to have seen that in video.
yeah.
You know, like kind of see the attack because it'd be interesting to see if it was like kind of bland, like,
Right.
hey guys, like
We need
you want the same thing to happen last year? Let's play this.
Keegan
game.
said, I didn't like what happened last year,
Yeah.
so I decided
It wasn't a
to
secret.
go hard at the beginning and hope that, a few guys would go with me. And it turned out that 5 or 6 guys were able to go with him.
Did you fly the bird as he threw down that attack?
I don't know. It would have been
Screw you
hilarious.
guys.
Peter, what's his last name? Vasic went with him. Peter is the former World Tour pro that almost outsprinted Keegan at Unbound. So this is also a legit gravel racer. So there were 4 or 5 of them trading poles for most of the day, but Keegan ended up making another attack near 10 or 12 miles to go, and he ended up winning by a couple minutes. So
He feels a bit unstoppable right now, which,
hold that thought.
okay.
So that was pretty great. The other and again, Keegan's girlfriend,
Yes.
Sophia
She had won.
Villafanier, she also won the women's
Yes.
142-mile race. So good on her. So that couple is just crushing the gravel scene here in the U.S. So this is not part of the Lifetime Grand Prix Fitness, this race, but
Is there good money there?
I think the winner got like $4 or $5 grand or something like that. There was prize money for both men and women, and
Good day on the bike.
yeah, and because a lot of people were in Colorado for
Unbound.
not Unbound,
Oh, not Unbound, I'm sorry, Leadville, yep.
and this was a week later. The last couple years, it's been the day after. So this year they were a week apart.
They need to work together, the race directors.
Well, they were initially, and they were doing this lead boat challenge where you would do Leadville one day and Steamboat the very next day, and they had like a separate, podium for who was the fastest among the lead boat challengers.
I'd imagine that's going to be too tight, too close for your normal pedestrian people out there. That they would do it if it was a week apart, but back-to-back days,
I feel like
probably a bit much.
Keegan probably won that award.
Yes, he did.
The lead boat award.
Because he won both races
Yes.
last year as well.
Yes.
And this year.
Right.
So anyway, but the cool story of the week was Lachlan Morton. He did the lead Breck boat challenge, which was not really a thing. But
the Breckenridge thing.
So Lachlan did Leadville. He was 3rd. Then he did the Breck Epic 6-day mountain bike stage race in Breckenridge, and he won that. And then he did Steamboat gravel, and I think he was 5th in Steamboat. So he had 1 day rest between the Breck Epic and
He's a lot of fun to
Steamboat.
watch.
Oh my gosh.
He's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Very cool.
Not only because he's a good cyclist, but more so because he's a character, man. He is like Australian wild man,
Yes.
like just character.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if he's posting videos about these adventures. I know he did last year or maybe
His
2 years ago.
His brother is like a filmmaker, so he's
Sort of,
made
but his brother was a cyclist too.
Yes, his brother was a
Big
cyclist
time.
too, but not really
Into it anymore.
not a world tour cyclist like Lachlan
I
is.
think he was.
Yes.
But okay, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
Anyway, it's very cool that EF Education is still supporting Lachlan, and
Yeah.
he's getting exposure for that team in the U.S. for sure.
In a different way.
In a
Yeah.
different way by doing this whole
By being crazy.
by being crazy. We love it.
Yeah.
So good for you, Lachlan. So that's it. Champ out.
Champ out. Champ Bailey out.
Thanks, Champ. Guys,
Oh God, here it comes.
Oh no.
Hot, 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 hot.
I feel like we
just
lost
dropped a hot seat.
We're losing listeners with our okay.
Okay, it's been a minute. We haven't
Hot
done
seat.
hot seat in a little while.
It's about
so
time.
Let's bring it back. Why not? Lance?
Yes.
You want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first because my question is right topically.
Whatever.
Is there a better American cyclist than Keegan Swenson?
So hot, you gotta listen naked.
Well,
I'll put my pants back on.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Better American cyclist than Keegan Swenson. So
Okay, because you just threw cyclists out there. So
what if
did.
Sepp Kuss
That's what I was going to say.
jumped
Sepp
on
Kuss.
a mountain bike or a gravel bike?
I bet Sepp Kuss could actually
hold his own.
Could hold his own.
I believe that.
And if we're just talking cyclists, then we have to be thinking like road cyclist. We're saying all around basically. Which
and what about the likes of like Matteo Jorgensen? That's another like World Tour pro.
Yep. Nielsen Palace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another World Tour pro.
And again, this is like who would win one day, who would win in the mountains, who would win on a weird Leadville, starting at 10,000 feet and climbing over a gravel lake. It's almost like, oh, well, all these different Americans would potentially do well. So who do you pick for overall?
Well, you know a lot more about Keegan Swenson than probably all of us here, myself and Matt.
I think he could ride on a World Tour team.
Probably.
I don't think that he could be a Sepp Kuss on a World Tour team, like a super domestique.
Keegan has power numbers that rival Sepp Kuss, and
he's got the right build.
He's got the right build. He's like 140 pounds. He's like he's like 5'6" or 5'8" and 140 pounds. He's not a big guy,
right.
but he does these monstrous power numbers, and it seems like that altitude doesn't affect him as much as it affects everybody else. So his power numbers from Leadville rivaled or were better than what Pogačar and Vingegaard did on the big climbs at the Tour de France. His watts per kilogram and his power numbers were better than that. But part of that is because altitude doesn't quite affect Keegan as much for whatever reason. It's just because he's a freak of nature or whatever. And so, but Sepp Kuss, being born and raised in Durango at elevation, that's somebody that could probably rival what Keegan does or could whoop Keegan. And Sepp also has a mountain bike background,
What are Keegan Swenson's bike handling skills like? I mean, we know that he can drop it like it's hot on like Leadville's not a technical.
It's not
race. I mean, there are some things in there that might require a little bit of technical skills, if you will. But all the gravel racing he's doing, there's not really a lot of like overly technical things on there. So I mean,
live on a bike like that. I think you got to expect him to have very sound bike technical skills.
He won the national championship XC mountain bike race.
There's some skills right there.
The national championship like 3 years, three times in a row or something like that. So yeah,
are we
he's
talking
got
just
skills.
all around best American cyclist? Are we talking like a particular discipline? Or
nope, I'm just saying cyclist.
I'm going to have to go out and say that he's pretty phenomenal, but I think that Sepp Kuss being on the biggest and best team in the world, being paid as one of the best super domestiques out there on the market right now. I mean, Keegan has been offered a pro contract to go ride on a World Tour team, and he turned it down, correct?
Correct.
Now,
and he did race the World Championships last year, not this year. He went and raced the World Championships last year.
And how did he do?
He finished in the pack. In the peloton.
Okay. So, he hasn't really proven himself on that front. And is that the measuring stick for like what the best cyclist is like how you were performing at a Grand Tour?
Good question.
I don't know. That's a tough question to say. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like Keegan. I think that what he does is pretty fantastic. He's a phenomenal cyclist with a huge engine and a lot of like skills. Seems like he likes the off-road stuff more than he likes the on-road stuff. Otherwise, he'd probably be on a pro team making probably quite a bit more money than he's making now.
I bet I don't know. I bet he's doing what's right for him financially. That's my gut feeling.
So here's my thought. He is in the U.S. living where he wants to live. He lives in Tucson during the winter, and he lives in Heber City near Park City in Utah during the rest of the year. He's around all his friends. He's around all his family, and he probably gets paid close to what he would if he had a pro World Tour contract.
So you think he's making 7 figures riding as a privateer?
It's probably pretty close.
Which I don't think he would get contract-wise on a World Tour team.
He wouldn't.
That's my hot take.
And he'd be living
in Europe.
Yeah. In a whole different situation. Away from your friends and family.
How much money is Sepp Kuss being paid, though?
Probably more than Keegan. Yeah, probably more than Keegan.
Probably well into the 7 figures, if not like 2+, maybe. I don't know. We could probably maybe reference that. And is that economic exchange that contract that he's getting dollar-wise, does that like give him a little bit more clout based on the fact that they're paying him based on his skills and his ability as a cyclist? And him being an American cyclist, if he's making more money, does that technically mean that he's more valuable, which could also be a better cyclist in general? I mean,
maybe.
I don't know.
Being part of a World Tour team, we talked about this last week a little bit. Matteo Jorgensen is going from Movistar to Jumbo Visma.
Probably bigger paycheck, if we're honest.
He's not only getting a bigger paycheck, but now he's part of a system and a team that has a bigger budget that will probably be able to squeeze a little bit more performance out of Matteo Jorgensen.
It's going to be tricky just because there's so many heavy hitters on that team. Like, he might not have the same opportunities that he might on a smaller team.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a trade-off.
It's like better altitude camps, less worry about, where you live or what you're doing.
He may mesh with the team better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
It's interesting.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So what say you? Is he the best in the American cyclist? Is he the best?
I think it's hard to vote against Sepp Kuss, to be honest with you. After seeing that he's already done the Giro and the Tour de France and helped his teammates win both races, and he's also going to be at the Vuelta, it's hard to argue against what Sepp Kuss does.
He's also a guy that, if he really wanted to, he could go into a GC position. Whether or not that would happen on Jumbo Visma, it's not going to happen right now because you get two guys that are firmly entrenched in that position. But he could easily go to another team. I mean, like, I want to say Ineos, but that will not use that. But there's plenty of other teams out there that could put him into a GC role, support him, and he could probably finish on the podium. Maybe. I don't know if he's going to win, but he could do pretty damn well.
But I tell you what, most of the U.S., probably more than the U.S., the cycling world was a bit shell-shocked to see what Keegan did at Leadville.
Oh, yeah.
That was the guy who took second place, Alexei Vermeulen, was trying very hard to win that race, and he was 23 minutes down from Keegan.
Yeah.
The people were crossing that finish line and were just like wide-eyed, like, what the hell did I just see?
Yeah.
What just happened?
Yeah.
How did he do that? Is it suspicious?
I don't know. I was just thinking about, do I need to hit a button over here to change this little thing? I mean, he's what, 28, 29 years old?
Keegan, I don't think he's that old.
I thought he was about that age.
He might be.
I don't know. I applaud him for what he's doing. I applaud him for like keeping it here in the States and doing all of the big races that we have here in the States and doing incredibly well. I'm just like, all right, well, if you're that good, why wouldn't you go test yourself and try the next level up? Go to Europe.
Because he's making enough money in the U.S., living where he wants to live, around his friends and family, doing the things he wants to do, doing his own programs. That's why
I think he's probably making more money doing this.
He might be.
If you really look, I mean, the real money is sponsorship, right?
Yes.
He's going to have much more sponsorship opportunities versus signing all of it away for one team and signing on to their sponsorship things.
Correct.
Because he can pick, how many sponsors do you think he has?
I don't know.
Probably 20.
Tons.
Yeah, he can take on as many as he wants. So
and all that money goes to him. There's not as much overhead, the team, all that stuff. I don't know. I think he's making more money. That's my hot take.
It's a pretty charmed life.
Yes.
Getting to do what he's doing here, and everywhere he shows up, he's the man. Granted, if he were to go do a grand tour, he's like one of a bunch of people. He's not going to be the man. So
he gets to travel with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yep. His girlfriend's doing the same races. She's also making money. Yep. She's also on the Santa Cruz hit squad. She's on the factory team as well.
I'm going to say Sepp Kuss is the best American cyclist. However, I would have to go on like a subset of that and say that Keegan Swenson's the one that's doing it right. I kind of like that. I mean, there's a point in time it's like, well, how much money do you really need to make? I mean, if you're young and this is sustainable and you can do it for years and it's working for you, he's going to have a long career after this as well because he's making such a name for himself here in the States and people are going to probably keep him on for, a multitude of different things, like just to rep the brand because he's done such phenomenal things in his time.
Yes.
What bike company is he with?
Santa Cruz.
Okay, so they're both okay.
God, there's a lot of things that he can continue doing to make money off of the name that he's building for himself here versus like if Sepp Kuss came back here, is he going to have that same clout because he hasn't really done the local race scene here like Keegan has? He's not going to necessarily have the same cachet with that community. I mean, granted, he's Sepp Kuss and he's making plenty of money and everybody knows who he is, but Keegan's doing stuff here in his own backyard that's going to play in his favor for many, many years to come. Sepp Kuss probably could do that, but he's not going to have the same reputation because he doesn't have the relationships like Keegan does because he's at all of the races. So I'm going to say Sepp Kuss is the better cyclist. I'm saying that Keegan Swenson's the one that's doing it right. I like that.
All right.
I kind of agree with Jake, and I hate to agree with anyone, but yeah, I think Sepp Kuss actually has the potential. This is a long shot, but I think he kind of wants to take on a Grand Tour at some point. Like I think he wants to be like, I've been the super domestique. I don't think it's a Tour de France, but I think it's like one of the Grand Tours that he wants to take on and try and do it.
Yeah,
see what he's really capable of.
I don't think that happens until Roglic goes somewhere else.
You may be right. I just think that if that does happen, and that's another big thing, like could he actually win one? But like to be talked about with that group of like potential winners of a Grand Tour,
yes,
then you kind of got to give them the nod.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's regardless of money. I think that, he probably does pretty well. Other big American cyclists, this girl's name's Viola. Here, let me show you a video of her. She's definitely one of the best cyclists. She's like a bike ballerina. She does like, you stand on the bikes and you spin around and do all this stuff. Better bike handling than...
The stuff that these ladies can do on these bikes is insane.
Her bike handling skills put Keegan's to shame, right? Yeah. So, I think that there's a multitude of answers that of people that could potentially top Keegan Swenson for sure. So,
all right. You win.
Final answer.
You win, Matt.
Yes.
Cool. That was a good one. That was kind of actually tough to answer. A lot tougher than I thought if you really start breaking it down. So
it's a real hot seat question. Really hot. Yeah.
Matt Legrand, you got a hot seat question for us?
And following up on the discussion that I had at the beginning with my backpedal discussion, that I was talking about bike computers. What would it take for you guys to switch away from one of the major brands? Basically, your Garmin. Ooh, that's hot.
You just threw that one straight into the frying pan, dude.
Here's the thing. I find it very interesting that the Hammerhead Crew computers were like almost half off, recently.
Yeah.
And I expect that, and I have heard no rumors, but I expect like a Hammerhead Crew 3 to pop up. And
that seems logical.
I don't know.
They discount the 2s,
like
knowing
I've
that
heard,
a 3 is going to come out.
I've heard no rumors.
Yeah.
I've heard no rumors, but I'm starting a rumor now. What would it take to rip your Wahoo? What you're on the?
I'm on the Wahoo.
You're
Bolt.
on the Roam. Oh, you're the Bolt.
I'm the Bolt,
and you're on the Roam.
Correct.
What would it take to rip that out of your hands? Would like something like wireless charging, where you put it down and you have Qi charging? Would you care about that at all?
Not really, but that would be kind of a cool little
It'd be
thing.
A great little thing.
Yeah, but that's just another thing that you need to purchase to set the damn thing on, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm perfectly fine with USB-C.
Plug. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Would you? I don't know. What other crazy features could there be? What if it was like able to estimate your aerodynamic drag, just calculating using weather information?
Pretty stinking cool.
It knows your speed. It knows weather information. It knows the watts that you're putting out. And you could roughly try to figure out like your position on the bike. I'm randomly throwing out like
there is one thing that
exist.
I think would be pretty cool.
Okay.
The RTL 715 or RCT, no, whatever the radar with the camera, the video camera in it. The 715 has the video. If there was some way for it to connect and display the video of the cars coming up from you behind.
It's your backup camera.
Yeah. Beep. Beep, beep.
That goes along with what I would like to see, but go ahead, Jake.
So I wouldn't mind having that there just so you can do a quick glance down to see like where the car's at with respect to, not having to look over your shoulder, therefore like deviating, whatnot. If you can just look down and kind of see where that car's at, what color the car is, confirm that there is in fact just one car or maybe three cars, just to be able to see that stuff quickly without having to look over your shoulder. That would be kind of a cool little feature to see.
Absolutely. I would expect that to come from Garmin just because of the integration, but what would it take, like, if it just had that feature? So the hot seat question, like, if it just had one feature like that, would that be enough? Maybe. It depends on the feature, obviously, but...
Well, I'm currently using Wahoo. I love Garmin. I think that they make a fantastic product, but I would if that was proprietary to Garmin, that's something I'm like, I think I might want to go back over to that.
Yeah. I think the three of us probably are easier to jump ship because price sensitivity isn't there. We have access to a lot of devices, and so we're probably less loyal than a lot of people.
Yes, that's probably very true.
Because what about you? What kind of feature would consider?
There's two things.
Okay.
I want a heads-up display, so I don't have to look down at my I don't have to look at my stem. It'd be nice to have a heads-up display that
built into sunglasses.
Built into my sunglasses. Somehow that didn't interfere with my vision. Right. Mm-hmm. So, speed, power.
There's quite a few companies.
View of the backup camera.
Yeah.
That would be something very cool that I could see all my metrics while I'm riding, not having to look down, but looking straight ahead.
There's been a couple of companies that have tried,
and it hasn't really washed out real well yet.
Nothing's like exploded and been like popular.
Yeah.
But
it'd be nice to have rear camera,
the
video showing like on your glasses in the right hand corner.
I'd love not
like
to
that.
look at my stem. I agree with you. Like looking down your stem is like just another chance to take your eyes off the road.
Yeah. The other thing is a front-facing recording camera that was integrated with a very small bike computer. Like, don't change the size of a bike computer, but has a front-facing camera on it.
What about a light? Would you like having a little light on there too?
Absolutely. If all those things were integrated into one thing that had a bike computer that also had a light,
light would kill the battery, I think.
Yep, and had a camera. If it had all those things, very cool.
That'd be interesting.
The other thing I would like to see, and this might just be a software thing, is when I'm riding in a new location, that the bike computer would tell me what Strava segments nearby I have a shot at getting.
That's a cool thing.
Like I'm in a new place. Oh, there's easy pickings on this Strava segment. You go down there and hold 500 watts for 30 seconds and it's yours. Or
easy. Sounds easy. Easy pickings.
Right.
Like 500 watts for...
Well, I mean, it's not like, not easy pickings, but
500
like,
watts
hey,
for 3 seconds?
These are within
you
your...
said 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Well, if it knows your power profile and your size and what kind of segments you typically go after, what kind of a rider, are you a climber, are you a rollier, are you a sprinter, what are you? That'd be kind of neat.
That'd be kind of cool.
It'd be great if you could, like, as you're, turning it on, do you want to go after segments? Yes.
Yes.
Because if you're Seb Kuss, like everything is open to him,
Correct.
Right? And so he would get that message all the time. That would be annoying. He would want to turn that feature off. But Lance, on the other hand,
I'm not Seb Kuss.
You would want to go after those babies.
I don't get uphill segments.
Yeah. Well.
So anyway, I thought those two things would be cool.
That's interesting.
Heads up display. Tell me what segments to chase.
That's awesome. I love it. I
feel like you, Matt.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm the worst person because will I jump ship? Yeah. I'm highly likely to put 3 or 4 computers on the front of my bike and see what's what. But yeah, I mean, any sort of innovation stuff, I'm going to try to spend some time checking out. So I don't know. I think I'm a bad judge of character for that stuff. I mean, price, I really do think that price is important. And I think a lot of times, it's easy to overlook. I imagine that the new Hammerhead Crew 3, if it does ever come out, would be a $450 computer at least to kind of like match where Garmin is with their 840 device. So I don't know. I'm
1040.
What would
1040 is more expensive. That 1040 is like $600 or more.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's when they have they have one with solar panels built into it and stuff. I don't know if solar panels really has sold me. You probably you just don't get enough back for the solar panels.
What would Hammerhead have to do for you personally to
be
jump
like,
ship over to their computer?
I'd say very little. I would love to be able to put it down on a Qi charging system and be like, it's just charged. I don't have to like plug anything in. Just throw it on. I mean, I'd love to be able to take, all the little things off my bike and throw it on one Qi charging station, just like all of it charge up. That would be magical. But yeah, I don't think they would have to do a ton. I think that I wouldn't mind if that device was a little bit lighter weight, like if it went on a little bit of a diet. The big thing for that device is I think the battery life is a little crappy. It's
Not
like
a little, it's very crappy. It's true, 6 or 7 hours, yeah.
So I would try to tackle the negatives that people are throwing out. Like that's this kind of like low-hanging fruit in a lot of ways. It's hard stuff to do, but it's like these are the complaints for this device. This is why people would choose a different device over that one. So I would try to tackle that stuff first. Yeah.
It's a great computer, though.
Great computer.
Need an app, in my opinion.
They definitely need an app, and they should get over themselves.
Yeah.
I think they will now because they're under new ownership. There's less like die on the cross. Like, this is my decision. We're not going to have an app. The device itself is a smartphone.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a bike computer.
I really like how they're running that company. The fact that they're reaching out to us and they're asking us, is it like a dealer? Like questions. Yeah. They're sending us out constant information about updates and like, hey, what is it that, people are telling you? What kind of feedback can you give us? I mean, they're plugged in, they're listening. So I think they've got something up their sleeve. They haven't disclosed to us what's coming down, but I think it's imminent. It has to be. They
kind of got screwed over by Shimano being like, yeah, you're not going to have access to our gearing information. A lot of people were like, that sucks.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't do the updates for like the past, 6 months because they don't want to lose their access to their Shimano gearing information.
At the end of the day, though, how important is that really? To know like what gears you were in or how many shifts you made, or
then how important is the whatever update they make? We don't know what that update is because it's some feature that you don't have access to, or some small thing or software update or whatever, because they do updates every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you're happy with the computer the way it was and it had Shimano shifting, then don't update. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cool. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they come out with something new, but that will be kind of a fun little computer to look at, because they got to do something, because they were leading the pack with their predictive climbing, and then all of a sudden they were third fiddle. I mean, they kind of got left behind. They really haven't done a whole heck of a lot of innovating since.
Right.
But
But that brief moment, it was like, wow, these guys are doing something cool. And it was like just them for a year doing neat stuff.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I was pleasantly surprised when
I don't think it's Brighton doing the innovative stuff.
No.
Brighton Video, they're a little bit behind.
A little bit. Yep.
That's okay.
Cool. You guys ready for mine?
Yep.
Hot seat question. Feel the heat.
You guys need to change my mind. I watched a little documentary about...
was it called Oppenheimer?
Huh?
Oppenheimer. I want to see that.
Was it Barbieheimer? What was that? What's the
Barbieheimer.
You went to see Barbie?
I saw Barbie.
Did you see Oppenheimer?
I have not yet.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
Definitely
Did you really see Barbie?
What?
You went and saw Barbie?
My whole family was going. I dressed up for it. I wore like a pink shirt and everything. I had a pink BMC shirt. I wore my pink BMC shirt.
Where did you get a pink BMC shirt from?
At I don't know.
Some sort of expo.
At some expo.
Did they just give it to you?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
He's Lance freaking Hepler.
I'm Lance freaking Hepler.
Of course they're going to give it to him.
This exact shirt you're wearing, Jake, but in pink.
Really?
Yes.
The Ur shirt, huh?
You can tell right now that we're really jealous.
Yeah.
Every
I've
single
been working
one of
with
Guess
all
how
of
many
our
times
listeners.
I've worn it? Once.
Yeah.
To the Barbie movie.
Barbenheimer.
I'm like, hey, I got a pink shirt. I'm going to wear it to the Barbie
Hold
movie.
on. Yeah.
I've been working with those guys for 6+ years now.
No pink
and
shirt for
I've
you.
had one hat given to me and one T-shirt given to me. Come on, guys.
Well, I went to
brother up.
Go to an
to
expo.
one expo and I got 2 hats and 2 T-shirts. I'm going to shut up now.
That's funny. All right, so I watched this little documentary called Never Enough, and Lance might know what I'm talking about. Mark Cavendish story.
Oh, I did watch that.
Lance tells me, he's like, you got to watch the video. I'm like,
I
guy's
did.
a jackhole. He's always going to be jackhole. Well, you got to go watch the documentary. You might change your mind. Still an asshole. Changed my mind. Why?
Okay.
What
What
is the big infatuation with this guy?
Okay. I don't know. Here's my try to change your mind, because I think he's a jackass too, because of some of the stuff he's done in the past. But here's my try to change your mind. The people in the peloton like him.
Yes.
Those people know him better than the 3 of us.
Yes.
But only by a little bit.
Yes.
And so
His teammates love him.
I think it's one of those things where you kind of got to trust the people that know him best.
I don't know if I can agree with everybody in the peloton liking him. What's Peter Sagan think of him?
Peter Sagan might have some differences.
Well, they butted heads, literally.
Literally.
Peter Sagan kind of like tells it how it is. He's one of those guys that there's no like.
He has no reason to lie or.
Yeah, he's just like he's always just been himself, and he just kind of tells it how it is. He like speaks the truth, you know. He's kind of my my litmus test for the Mark Cavendish.
But Geraint Thomas, what's his nickname?
Jertaint
Thomas has like, you don't go hop on the front, like do a pull for a guy on a different team like he did. And
he took a pull at the end to lead him out. He was on a different team for Cavendish.
And you don't do that for a guy that's not like Giro. Your dude, your guy. And I just think.
Were you talking about that the tour when?
I think it was at the.
No, it was at the Giro.
Was it the Giro?
It was at the Giro, and Jertaint was at the front.
Jertaint, so good.
He was at the front of the peloton because he was trying to stay safe, and he looked over and saw Cav, and he like, I'm going to pull for him. And he went right to the front and pulled for him, and Cav won the stage.
They're former teammates.
When
G was, on Sky and Cav was on Sky.
Exactly. They are former teammates. They know each other quite well.
Sure.
Obviously, Gertaint thinks very highly of him, and I trust Geraint Thomas. I trust him. So that's my attempt. And I did not see the documentary. Does the documentary make him look like a family man or
a little bit? Yeah. Well, they also talked about the fact that he had his son, and 3 days later he
left
to go train for the tour. And I mean, granted, that's what he has to do. That's work, and
that's his job.
Kind of let his wife know ahead of time before they started having kids that was going to be the
this is
deal.
My job, and I'm going to have to leave for most.
How many kids does he have? Is it like
3?
5 kids?
5.
Yeah, it's
5.
A lot of kids.
I only saw 3 in the video.
Yeah, because
he killed 2 of them.
Oh, jeez. Is it from other women? Or something?
No, I think he has 5 kids all with her. I'm not sure.
Are you sure? No, I thought it was only 3. They only showed 3 in the documentary that I can remember, but maybe I missed something. But I don't. He has gone through a lot of stuff. I mean, he dealt with clinical depression. He dealt with the Epstein-Barr. He dealt with plenty of crashes and injuries, and you can kind of see him start to change and kind of see his mortality.
Did you guys see that he this last crash was like the first time he had broken his collarbone or something like that? And I was like,
correct.
wow, can you imagine like his career and being like, yep, first time breaking the collarbone.
He actually shattered it. So he actually had to have a bone graft done in there. He had to take bone out of his hip.
Are you
to graft
sure
into
that
it.
he didn't break it when he had the run-in with Sagan in the fence? I know that he broke his scapula, and I could have sworn he broke his collarbone,
They
too.
just mentioned that this was his first time, and I was just very surprised by that. So
there was, and they showed this crash pretty extensively. I think it was Paris-Nice, if I'm not mistaken, where he ran into the barrier, went straight into a barrier and like flew over the bars and just got belly flopped on the ground and smacked his head, and he was on the ground for a while. That was a pretty nasty crash too. But he did have a reputation in the peloton for a while of like, hey, don't sit on this guy's wheel, don't be around him. He crashes a lot. So I don't know. He's dealt with some stuff, and sometimes those head injuries can metastasize themselves into some behaviors and attitudes that don't really set well with other people, or he can be like snappy and whatnot. But even when you saw some of the earlier videos of him like just snapping and being a complete jackass to the media guys, his wife is trying to defend him, saying, oh, he's never had any media training. Well, you don't need to have media training to be
not be an ass,
a courteous person. Like you're in a position that you need to be thankful for. That doesn't give you full just a blank check to say, I am going to treat you however I want to treat you, and I'm going to choose to treat you like a jackass, and that's going to be my MO. And that's kind of how he was with the media for a long time. If you don't like what they're asking, don't answer. Just move on. Don't need to just go out there and treat humans like that. But it's not just the media.
He has not dealt with the media very well. He's also not dealt with some of his soigneurs very well.
The mechanics that he's undressed. And there have been plenty of times in the peloton where, he just seemed like he was just a fill-in-the-blank guy to people that wasn't very nice.
Yeah. But Sagan's done the same thing, especially in the peloton.
With other riders?
Yes.
How so?
Just barging his way into spots that he didn't have room to get into.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's what sprinters do. Yeah,
yeah. They got to take those chances. If you don't take those chances, then you're not winning, right?
According to Wikipedia, him and his wife, Petra Todd, have 4 kids together, and she had a son from a previous relationship.
Okay.
So he's got one step and
4 of his own.
kids. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I respect what he has accomplished in his career. And it was kind of cool when they showed some of the videos of him as a little kid, like a little kid when he was doing
like
his
12
first
12 or 13
if
or
even that,
10.
something like that, doing like crit races on his bicycle, and they're, talking to him about like, how did you feel today? How are you feeling about tomorrow? And you're getting ready to go to this other big race. And that was kind of a fun, neat thing to see. And you see some video of him in his like early 20s, probably even 20 years old, winning like, track championships, and seeing him, do all of the things that he's done throughout the course of his career. I mean, granted, there's only one other person that's won 34 stages, and I still think that Eddie Merckx is a better all-around cyclist than Cavendish is. He's definitely hands down the best sprinter of all time. Is he the best stage winner in the Tour de France? I don't think so.
Okay.
But he's won World Championship, UCI World Championship. He's worn the yellow jersey before.
Yes.
He's done a lot of stuff, but I respect that, but I just don't care for him as a person, and I don't think that there's anything that you can do to change my mind. And I think that video probably painted, or that documentary probably painted, the best possible picture for him. And there's still moments there where you're like, don't try and justify, way that he treated people and the things that he did.
I'll say this. After watching that documentary, yes, I felt better about him than I did before. He's been on a couple of, like, he's come on Lance Armstrong's podcast, The Move, a couple of times.
Sure.
And they love the guy.
Yeah.
Even though Armstrong originally said he's done, he's washed up, he's not going to win another stage, and then he turned around and won 4 stages last year.
Well, that was 2021, not last year, but
yeah, 2021.
There were no sprinters left in the field. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Call spade a spade. I mean, there was nobody there to contest him for the most part.
Right.
So all the big sprinters were gone.
Yeah, they were crushed. So it was an easier field for him. But so I think, I felt better about him after watching that documentary, but that was why they made the documentary, I think.
And that's another thing, is like, did he have anything to do with that documentary? Did he get any kind of say over like the narrative of it and the picture that it's going to paint about him?
He financed the whole thing and produced it.
Probably.
He was on the computer editing it. He did a hell of a job.
Yeah, good job, man.
He's a better editor than he is a sprinter.
Really good with iMovie, yeah.
Good job.
All right, well.
Good question.
Do you guys still think he's a good dude, or is he an a-hole?
Yeah. Like I said before, I mean, you can make the argument that he's a good dude, but meh.
Can you be both?
I haven't seen it.
Can you be both?
Sure. We all are.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Lance.
I've been an a-hole in specific situations.
On this podcast.
On this podcast.
Today.
I still love you, Jertaint.
Oh.
That's hot. That's hot.
Hot. Good hot.
That was hot.
That was hot.
All right, let's move on. Let's do one last thing. Matt LeGrand, you want to go?
Okay. Posted a video last week talking about the Apple Watch Ultra after 300 days. Did some fancy After Effects in there. Check that video out. I have a couple videos that I'm working on.
Ooh, hold on.
Yeah.
What's that video view-wise? When you came in to do the podcast on Friday, it had only been up for like, an hour or two, and you'd already had 1,000 views? Is it like...
It's nothing crazy.
Is it going bonkers?
Let's tell you. Hold please.
I should have prompted you with this ahead of time. So
I'm going to win.
9,000.
9.1. Okay.
That's good.
It's actually 9.3. There's always a delay for... You can actually see like more real time.
More real time.
Yep. That's a good thing about being on the back end. But anyway,
boy.
I am going to have a couple more videos talking about Apple Watch Ultra stuff. I bought a watch for $17, which is an Apple Watch Ultra knockoff. And it's interesting.
You can have a showdown between that and the Casio.
$17.
Did I hear that right?
Yeah. So it's
That's
interesting.
less than the lunch I'm going to go buy when I leave here.
It's interesting because like your just expectations are so low for this thing, and it kind of works in some ways. Like it doesn't really. Like it doesn't. Like there's really funny things about it. Like it'll. I don't want to blow the video for people, but like the flashlight part, like you can do a thing in a button and turn the flashlight on. It does tell time correctly. It thinks that you can call people, and so you like put my wife in there or whatever, and it just doesn't do anything. So you like click on her name, nothing does nothing.
Happens.
You try to dial a phone number, you press the thing, nothing happens or whatever. It says you can like run with it and all this stuff. So I took it for a run, and it's not really accurate at all for measuring distance. And then like once you like click done or whatever, the information is gone. Like it doesn't save your information at all. It's just gone. So funny things like that. The best part is the watch says that it can do blood pressure, which no watch on the, well, I mean, there is one watch on the market that can do this, but like it's like this thing and it like puffs air into the watch band and stuff like that. So there are watches that do this sort of, but no real watch company does this. This thing says it can do that. You hit the blood pressure app or whatever, and it just throws a number out there.
It says this is your blood pressure.
It's like 118/81. I'm like, yes, that's pretty good because my blood pressure tends to be a little bit high, and I'm like, it's just making something up. There's like no possible way.
It's not puffing up your wrist.
No,
it's not.
There's no technology there that could potentially come up with. So it does not hesitate to just make up numbers. So it's a hilarious device.
Chinese.
Wow.
It's have you ever heard of the website Temu?
Yes.
And so yeah, they have funny commercials sometimes and stuff like that. It's like all like really, really cheap stuff. It's really funny. Like if you look on the back of this watch, it has the exact information that the Apple Watch Ultra got on the back. So it says like titanium, sapphire, waterproof under 50. Like this is like something that's on the Apple Watch Ultra. It's like around the little blood, like the heart rate monitor sensor. Yeah, it has like this information around it. And so it's just like literally they just copy and pasted that information around this thing.
Because there's no way it's no way it's waterproof.
That's the thing, is like
there's no way it's a sapphire lens.
It's not titanium. It's plastic.
Titanium.
So the watch bands, you can't take the watch bands off and use it on your Apple Watch Ultra. So I'm like, man, this is not $17 wasted. But I am going to try to swim with it before I finish up the review, which means
it might be done.
It'll be done. Yeah,
You're going to kill the watch.
I'm going to kill the watch, but I'm saving that for the very last possible moment.
Good choice.
There's lots of things like I need to make B-roll and get videos and like show the features and all this stuff, and then it's like if I swim with it, it's going to be dead. That's. I don't know if that video is coming up next or the rumors for the Apple Watch Ultra 2 that might come up, and I've got all the information for the Brighton Rider 750. So those are like 3 or 4 videos that I'm working on. Cool. One of those will come out this week.
I still want to see a cage match between the Casio and this watch.
Which the Casio, it's also dead, but yeah.
Yes, because you swam with it.
Well, what's funny is that watch was given to us. Some guy gave us like 3 of those watches. I was like, this is awesome. They were like, they needed the battery changed or whatever. So I made a funny video and I pretended like the thing was dead from swimming with it, but that was not actually true at all.
Okay, perfect.
It was
even better.
It was like, is the Casio calculator watch good for triathlon? And it's like, yes, of course it is.
Love it. Cool. Lance Hepler, one last thing.
The last roadie type race that we have in this area is this weekend, the Swift Summit. They have a 200-mile mixed terrain race. They have a hill climb on Friday. They have a 100-mile paved race and a 50-mile paved race.
You're doing the 200-miler, right?
I'm not going to it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not.
But
it's not on my plan.
You're promoting.
But it's an Ober race, and there's a final kind of roadish race in the area. So there you go.
Cool.
That's it.
Yep. You getting stoked and pumped and ready for cyclocross?
Yes, I am. Very much.
Is this still your favorite time of the year, or do you think that this is going to take second fiddle to your mountain bike season?
I freaking had a blast. It's fun to win races.
Yep.
I had a blast racing my mountain bike. The mountain bike races actually fit my skill set better than cyclocross does.
Changing of the guard
so,
here, huh?
So I don't know what'll happen. So
maybe you're like, I was always looking forward to like the next season or whatever. And so maybe you're the same way where you're like, ooh, this was really fun. I'm really looking forward to cyclocross season. For me, it was like, okay, indoor track. Ooh, I'm looking forward to this. But yeah, when you get into it, I bet you'll be like, oh yeah, cyclocross is my favorite. Yeah, I think you will. We'll see.
Cyclocross still your favorite, Matt Legrand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there any? I just finished the race and I was like, that sucked. Crashed a couple times. My bike handling isn't that great. Guess I'm not good at this. And I thought I was going to be good. Yeah, I've been talking about cyclocross with David Goodman a lot. He's like, you have to try again. You have to come out and do it again. And I'm like, I don't even have a cyclocross bike anymore. But he's going to try cyclocross this year.
He was at practice.
He was at practice last night.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
Good.
If Lance did a triathlon, would you do another cyclocross race? Because
Lance
I am
is
a very competitive person, and I certainly am
he is a
always
triathlete.
motivated by doing certain things. One of them is being a triathlete, trying to be the best type of
he already is a triathlete, so.
that I can be,
Look
and
at me.
try to
A
be
screen
as fast as I
triathlete.
can be, as
mustache.
competitive as I can be.
And so, yeah. So, of course, Lance is going to do a triathlon. I don't have to do a cyclocross race for that to happen. I could take a mountain bike out there, I guess.
Oh, I would love to watch all this happen. Maybe we need to have a bet with you guys, and you guys can have the loser do the
my
others.
mountain bike working a little bit better. Like I feel like the brake thing is still
an issue.
It's just not quite right. We'll look at it.
Talk
we'll
to
work
me.
on it.
Yeah, we'll figure something out there.
We'll figure it out.
My one last thing, and then I do have to get to a meeting that started a minute ago.
Fantastic.
We will be fine though. Is I wanted to wish a happy birthday to teammate Terry Hamness. Yes. This will come out. Maybe we'll make it come out today, just so we can say happy birthday, Terry.
Happy
Hamness.
birthday, Terry.
Maybe there's some cover art there too. I don't know. Maybe there's something. Maybe this has to come out a day early. But anyway, happy birthday, Terry.
Happy birthday, Terry.
We miss you, buddy. We want you to get better, feel well, and be able to come out and ride and play bikes. Maybe we'll have to have a competition to see who can come back out for a team ride sooner, Terry or me. So, but Terry's a great guy, and just want to wish him a happy birthday. Cool. Anything else, boys?
That's it.
That's it.
Yep. Cool. All right. We will be back next week with another one of these, and until then, bye for now.
Your taint.